Hello guys! I wanted to talk to you a little bit about general principles of writing and some advice which I would like to give you, because I hear a lot from my students that writing doesn't come easily to them. It's a little bit difficult, it requires a lot of energy, and a lot of English learners are struggling with confidence in writing. Why does that happen? It happens because writing is a skill, the same as speaking, listening and reading, and you learn these skills in your own language as children. It takes years and it happens without control. You don't even realize that any serious learning is happening, but actually you are learning to process the information, you are learning to select what's the most important for you and how to form your messages effectively, right? How to structure your text, how to read, and of course you need to practice that as a skill when you are learning a foreign language. What are the three main secrets to successful writing? You need to understand how the text works, and you need to remember you have a reader. I have seen this situation very many times when my students, they receive a writing task, they start writing something, they think, it doesn't feel comfortable, they are struggling with their confidence, so they just write. When they write the last word, they immediately give the paper back to me. They don't want to look at it one more time, they don't want to edit it, they don't want to revise it, and this is, from my point of view, this is a serious problem with the attitude first, which doesn't depend exactly on how many words you know, how much grammar you know. Words and grammar themselves will not help you if you don't have the right attitude. And if you don't want to read that again, if you don't even want to have a look at it, it will not be interesting for your reader, I promise, because you didn't put any work in it. You just, dropped all the words on the paper, but it's not writing. Even native speakers edit their work. They look at the text again and again, and they reread it, they change it, and it's just a part of the process. You always need to look at your first text as a draft, which you have to reread after you have finished. It's perfect to give yourself a couple of minutes, to look in the window, just to distract yourself, and then to come back to the same text again, because you will look at it with the fresh eyes and you will probably want to express it in a different way. This is very important. I recommend paying attention to that. What about how the text works? There are three elements to a text which is comfortable for reading. First, it should be straight to the point. It should be short. If you want to write 25 sentences about just one idea, it's very difficult to read. If you start very long, if you think about the context very long, again, it's not very easy to read. That's why you need to start with the idea you want to express, and after that just explain why you think so. And this is the most effective structure for your writing, believe me. So, be short and straight to the point. And second, write in a clear, readable style. And of course, in this part we are struggling a lot because we are not confident with the grammar, we are afraid, to make a mistake. Mistakes are not a problem. You will be very surprised to know that actually the pieces, the texts which English learners write are usually the most wordy ones, with the longest words, with the biggest number of words. And English learners often make this mistake. They go to the dictionary, they search for long words, for intelligent words, and they think, okay, if I use these cool words in this text, everybody will think I know English well. No, it is not necessarily so, because if it's a new word for you, If you haven't seen it before, if you haven't used it before, you have no relationship with this word. Well, where is the guarantee you can use it right in the correct context, in the correct collocation? There is no guarantee here. That's why you take an additional risk and you put yourself into additional stress when you search for long, intelligent words in the dictionary. You need to be able to write with all the words which come to your head. And you don't want to look intelligent. Be intelligent with your ideas. And from my point of view, when I read something, the most intelligent idea, it is the idea which I can understand, which is expressed the way which is comfortable for me as a reader to look at. That's why the first thing, operate with your vocabulary, operate with your grammar. You don't need to know everything to express your ideas in a simple and stylistically comfortable way for your reader. And the third trick about your text, it is the focus and organization. For that we use passages, so if your text looks like a cloud, for example, it's just many words together, like people write on the social media these days, it's actually very difficult to digest, it's very difficult to understand. That's why you divide your text into passages. So this is your first idea. Second idea, you start a new passage. Punctuation helps a lot, so I always recommend looking at punctuation, going deep into punctuation if you have to write in English regularly. And there are very good online courses for that, because punctuation will be showing your reader where to go. It will be like some kind of a signaling system. And the same kind of a signaling system will be your discus markers. They are so-called signal words which help your reader to predict what you're going to say next. And if they can predict that, that's a very good thing. So if you use the correct discus markers of addition, yes, you add new ideas. I understand, okay, this was idea 1, this will be idea 2, and so on. I will concentrate properly. If I start using the contrasting markers, okay, there will be a conflict. I need to concentrate even more, for example. Or, for example, I will be given an example. This is just an explanation, okay? This is not the most important information in the text. And your reader will be active, will be in process, and he will start communicating with your text. And this is exactly what you want to happen. So always remember, somebody will be reading it. If you don't remember about your reader, I am not sure you will be able to write something which is pleasant and interesting to read. These are the basic things, and right now I will be showing you step by step how discus markers will be organizing your text for more comfortable reading for the people who are reading it for.